Emily realized her nanny had been stealing from her and decided not to stop her. When the bracelet vanished and the drawer came up empty, Emily smiled through breakfast and said nothing. Not because she wasn't sure, but because she wanted proof. From that moment on, every quiet morning in the house wasn't routine anymore. It was surveillance. Carla was in the kitchen that morning, cutting strawberries for the kids. The knife tapped against the board, steady, calm. The sound carried down the hallway like proof that everything was fine. It almost worked. Emily walked in, smiled, poured coffee. The smell of syrup filled the air. The twins fought over cartoons. Carla laughed. Calm. Practiced. Too calm. Do you need me to stay later today? Emily didn't look up. No, it's fine. She wanted to believe that. She wanted to believe she was just tired, that work and kids and endless to-do lists had made her forgetful. But there'd been other things. A lipstick, a pair of sneakers, a missing toy, small things, always small enough to doubt yourself. She rubbed her wrist. The skin still felt bare. Her husband had shrugged when she mentioned it last week. You probably just misplaced them. Don't stress about it. Easy for him. He was gone 3 nights a week. Emily tried to shake it off. She opened her laptop, answered emails, listened to the clinking dishes and the kids' laughter in the background. But the unease stayed, steady as a hum. Later that afternoon, when the house went quiet, she checked the dresser again. The drawer slid open with that same soft scrape. Nothing. She stared at the empty space where her bracelet should have been. For a long moment, she just stood there. No sound, no movement. Then she closed the drawer carefully, almost gently, like she didn't want to wake something up. By the time her husband called that night, she already knew what she wasn't going to say. And when she turned off the light, the silence felt heavier than before. The post showed up late that night. Just a short message in the local moms group. Anyone else had a nanny take little things and not notice until too late? Emily read it twice, scrolling through the comments. There were stories, quiet ones. Missing rings, makeup, a kid's game console. Same pattern, same uncertainty. Nobody ever had proof, just that uneasy feeling. She didn't comment. She didn't even like the post. She just sat there with the phone screen lighting her face, a small reflection in her coffee mug beside her. By morning, she'd made a decision. Not a loud one, just a quiet click in her head. She ordered a UV pen and a small blacklight. It arrived 2 days later in a thin Amazon box. She opened it at the kitchen counter after the kids went to bed. The hum of the fridge and the distant TV from the living room, the only sounds. One by one, she marked things. Tiny, invisible dots under her bracelet clasp, behind a pair of sunglasses, on a jar of cash tips she kept from freelance work. You couldn't see them in daylight, only when the UV light hit, a soft blue shimmer like a secret. The next morning, she placed everything back exactly where it had been. Nothing changed on the surface. The same quiet hum of the fridge, the same soft light through the blinds, like the house hadn't noticed anything. Carla came as usual, cheerful, early, holding her coffee, smiling like always. The house smelled like waffles and laundry detergent. She joked with the kids, hummed as she worked. Emily joined conference calls, pretending to listen. Midday, while Carla took the kids to the park, Emily heard the door close and the quiet rush back in. She walked into the kitchen. The jar of cash was there, untouched. The sunglasses too. Everything looked perfectly normal. She clicked off the light and turned on the UV beam, slow, steady. The blue glow ran across the counter, over the handle of Carla's tote bag hanging on the chair. And there it was, a faint smudge of that same ghostly light, right at the edge of the zipper. Emily froze. Not from shock, from certainty. She turned off the flashlight, put it back in the drawer, and stood still for a moment, listening to the house breathe. Then she whispered, "Okay." Her hands were steady now. Too steady. She asked Carla to help pack some toys for donation that Friday. Nothing unusual in her voice. Same calm tone, same smile. The living room smelled like lemon cleaner and crayons. Carla knelt beside a pile of stuffed animals, folding tiny shirts into a box. Emily stood nearby, sorting through old puzzles, pretending not to watch. Her heart beat slow but heavy, like her body already knew this mattered. Between the puzzles and the toys, she slipped in a small plastic bag, an old bracelet, marked under the clasp. She watched Carla's hands move, quick, practiced, careful. Carla laughed about how much stuff kids collect. Emily nodded, said nothing. When the boxes were sealed, Carla stacked them by the front door. "Want me to drop them off on my way home?" she offered. "Sure, that'd be great," Emily said. That was it. No scene, no pause. Just a quiet exit. An hour later, Emily sat at her desk, staring at the baby monitor feed she'd repurposed as a small camera near the hallway. The footage ran quietly, no sound, just a faint blur of movement earlier, a bag brushing the counter, the edge of that tote visible again. She didn't need to zoom in. She already knew. When the door clicked behind Carla that evening, the house felt both lighter and louder. The kids were upstairs playing. The air conditioner kicked on with a soft rumble. Emily walked to the boxes by the door. One was slightly open. The bracelet wasn't there. She went to the kitchen drawer, pulled out the small black light, and clicked it on. The glow found the faint blue dots again. Only now, they shimmered across the countertop, near the same chair, near where the tote had been. She turned off the light, sat down, listened to the hum of the fridge. Then she reached for her phone and scrolled to one specific name, her friend at the police department. She typed, "Can I ask you something off the record?" Her finger hovered, then pressed send. The message felt heavier than it should have. Not anger, just the quiet weight of decision. She hated that it had come to this, but she couldn't unsee what she knew. The officers arrived on a Wednesday afternoon. No sirens, no noise, just a knock. Carla opened the door with her usual calm smile, holding a dish towel. The kids were watching a movie upstairs. Emily stood by the counter, her hands wrapped around a mug she didn't really need. "Ma'am," one of the officers said gently, "we'd like to ask about some missing property." Carla blinked. "What do you mean?" Emily didn't move. The air felt thick, like the house was holding its breath. The officers stepped inside, explained the situation, small household items, reported missing, maybe mixed up. They were polite, almost casual. Carla's face stayed neutral, only her fingers tightening on the towel. Then the officer asked, "Would you mind if we take a quick look in your bag?" Carla hesitated, then smiled again. Of course not. She set the tote on the counter. The zipper rasped open. One by one, the officers pulled out items, her phone, wallet, keys, snacks. Then a bracelet. Silver, thin, familiar. Emily didn't need to see the clasp. She already knew. Still, one officer turned off the kitchen light and clicked on the black light Emily had left nearby. The dots glowed soft blue in the dim room. Quiet, undeniable. Carla's breath caught. "It's not," she started, then stopped. Her voice cracked, a sound so small it barely registered. "I was just borrowing." The officer nodded, took notes. Calm. Routine. Emily didn't speak. She stood still, the mug cooling in her hands. The hum of the refrigerator filled the silence. The kids' laughter upstairs felt like it belonged to a different world. When they finally left, Carla avoided Emily's eyes. She walked out slowly, no goodbye, no sound but the front door clicking shut. Emily stayed by the counter long after they were gone. The bracelet sat under the faint blue light, glowing like a quiet truth she hadn't wanted but needed to see. Outside, a car started. Then nothing. She exhaled once, sharp, steady, as if releasing a weight she'd carried too long. The neighborhood chat blew up that night. Someone had seen the police car. Someone else knew a friend of a friend who'd heard everything. By morning, half the moms group was trading shocked messages. The perfect nanny, the sweet one everyone trusted, a thief all along. Emily didn't read most of it. She muted the notifications, set the phone face down on the counter, and went back to packing lunches. The kitchen smelled like peanut butter and coffee. The kids were loud again, wild, alive, unbothered. It felt strange how quickly the house went back to normal. Stranger still that she didn't feel angry anymore. The bracelet was back in its drawer, the clasp still marked with that invisible dot. The blacklight sat beside it, switched off. She thought about throwing it away, then left it there instead, a quiet reminder. That evening, after the kids fell asleep, Emily sat on the couch with the lights low. The house hummed softly, the sound of the air vents, a car passing outside, a dog barking somewhere down the street. She scrolled through a few unread messages from neighbors. "Good for you for catching her. Unbelievable. You must feel better now." She didn't reply. The truth was, it wasn't about feeling better. It was about finally believing herself. About not needing anyone to confirm what she already knew. She walked upstairs, paused by the kids' room. Both of them were asleep, faces half buried in their blankets. For the first time in weeks, She didn't check the locks twice. Downstairs, the UV flashlight still rested on the dresser. She picked it up, clicked it on once, watched the soft blue glow shimmer across her palm. Then she turned it off and placed it gently in the drawer beside the bracelet. She closed the drawer, slow, deliberate, the same one she'd opened the night she realized something was wrong. Then she whispered, almost to herself, "We're safe now." The air moved, barely, a soft shift, like the house exhaled with her.